It is improbable to get a bucket in the NBA at 5'11" or shorter. Only 145 players listed under 6 feet tall have scored even 1 point. Almost 3/4 of those players debuted before this century. A single member of this club has reached the elite mark of 2,000 points in a season. That's Isaiah Thomas in 2016-17, the year a 5'9" guard somehow became the king in the fourth. This episode of Quick Work is presented by Tissot Watches. So many stats in NBA history require a Wilt Chamberlain exception. You won't be surprised to learn most points in the fourth quarter is one of them. Wilt put up 31 in the last frame of his 100-point game. Quarter-by-quarter stat tracking dates back to 1996-97, so we've got to jump a few decades to find a confirmed second place. At 29 points in the fourth, we have a tie. There's another unicorn 7-footer in Dirk Nowitzki, who did it on 7 of 8 from the floor and sank all 14 of his free throws on November 3rd, 2009. No huge surprise to see another prime Hall of Famer on the list. But the last pick of the draft in 2011, Isaiah Thomas had a better chance of being out of the league by his 6th season than matching Dirk with his fourth quarter flurry in 2016. Not only wasn't that the case, IT was so clutch that year, he stole Damian Lillard's whole "you know what time it is" celebration, and most people's reaction was, well, he's got a point.
Isaiah, right-hand dribble, pulls up, fall away at 17, got it again!
Nobody has owned fourth quarters quite like Thomas did before or since. MVP Russell Westbrook was brilliant in the clutch in 2017, though you'd have to wave off shooting percentages to say he was better than IT. The only player in the last 30 seasons to score more points in the fourth than Thomas was Kobe Bryant in 05-06. Kobe's 715 points in the closeout quarter is indeed 31 more, but those points came in 5 additional quarters and on 124 more field goal attempts. Also, have I mentioned that IT is 5'9"? It's not a mystery why he slipped in the draft, but front office folks should have at least known that he was a will the team to victory kind of player. Exhibit A, how cold-blooded he was to win the 2011 Pac-10 title game. Word to Gus Johnson. It's also important to know he could get points in bunches in tough spots well before he made it to Boston. As a rookie on a dreadful Sacramento Kings team, he put up 2 20-point quarters, one each against the Heat and Thunder, that year's finals teams. In the 2013 calendar year, he torched those same teams again for 21 apiece in a quarter. All 4 instances came in a loss. He topped out at 17 in a quarter in his stint as the 3rd point guard in Phoenix. Between his first 2 stops, in games when Thomas hit a 15-plus point quarter, his squads went 4-12. The trend didn't end right away upon his trade to the Celtics, as Boston went 3-4 when IT had one of those high-scoring quarters through his first 100 games. Maybe he just hadn't fully calibrated things yet, since 6 of those 7 outbursts came in the 3rd quarter. Still, that first full season in green and white was a landmark one, as IT played all 82 and made the All-Star game. Once pigeonholed as a microwave bench scorer, few outside of then Celtics president Danny Ainge pictured IT becoming such a beloved figure in Beantown. What those fans got was a scorer the likes of which they hadn't seen since Larry Bird. And just like Bird, for better or worse, injuries couldn't keep Thomas off the court. We'll return to that point. Now, to be fair, the Celtics really needed him out there. Their offensive rating plummeted 14 points per 100 possessions when he sat in 2016-17. Only LeBron James had a starker difference among the league's top scorers back then. Thomas's 28.9 points per game was one behind Bird's franchise record of 29.9 nearly 30 years prior. The bulk of them were consequential, in a season where Boston won the Eastern Conference by just 2 games. Remember those 15-plus point quarters we talked about earlier? Thomas had 16 of them this season, leading the Celtics to a 12-4 record in those games. 13 of those came in the fourth quarter. Let's zoom in even closer on his 4 20-point fourth quarters, then a single-season record. Each one came in a single-digit win. In a November 16th matchup against the Mavericks, the Celtics were staring down a 5-6 start to the season. Then IT showed what made him so hard to defend. His ability to change speed and direction was a masterclass in rim pressure. If he didn't find the angle to score on a taller defender, he'd probably just end up at the line, where he shot 91%. But you couldn't just guard against the drive because he sank 38% of his threes on 8.5 attempts per game. 21 games into the season, the injury bug struck.
Hurt himself.
That's not good. Anytime a guy grabs his leg during a non-contact thing, I get nervous.
When he returned, he went on the biggest heater of his career. IT had never scored 40 points in his first 388 career games. In a 22-game stretch from December 20th to February 1st, he did it 5 times. Much of his success came out of the pick and roll, especially with Al Horford as a screener. But in that 29-point fourth quarter against Miami on December 30th, and ones in transition and parking lot threes were just as backbreaking. His 52 points were the most by a Celtic in 27 years. In January, when Boston really clicked, he burned Washington and Detroit respectively for 20 and 24 in the fourth, leaving legendary commentators in disbelief.
Isaiah Thomas is a flamethrower. Takes it to the basket again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but he is such a treat to watch, especially up close.
What's impressive is these hot streak quarters never came at the expense of consistency. Thomas scored 20 or more points in 43 consecutive games from November through February. That beat John Havlicek's franchise record that had stood since 1972. IT had already overcome the odds just to get here, but the hurdles only got bigger. How far back he was playing through hip injuries? No one really knows. In March, he again fought through injury to finish the season 5th in MVP voting. On the eve of the playoffs, he was met with personal tragedy in the death of his younger sister China in a car accident. Despite his mourning, he led Boston back from down 2-0 to beat the Bulls in 6. The day after the funeral, in game 1 of the second round, his tooth was sent flying on a steal attempt, yet he played on. He needed 6 hours of dental surgery the next day to repair the damage. 1 day later, game 2 fell on what would have been China's 23rd birthday. He channeled all his grief into a career-best 53 points, 29 of them in the fourth quarter and overtime. The Wizards as a whole scored 30 in that span.
Isaiah, where is this coming from, man? Where is this coming from?
It's my sister. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday. She would have been 23 today, so everything I do is for her, and she's watching over me, so that's all her.
Washington proved to be a tough out, but with a lot of help from Game 7 Kelly Olynyk, IT and Boston moved on to the conference finals. Beating the Cavs would have been a tough task in any circumstance. After IT re-aggravated his hip injury yet again in Game 2, it was a wrap. I don't just mean the series either. He was shut down by team doctors, ending not only his unbelievable season, but also his Celtics tenure. Following an unceremonious offseason trade to Cleveland, he never played more than 40 games in a season again. Just like with his fellow Washington Husky and clutch time king Brandon Roy, NBA fans missed out on prime years of a must-watch player because of injuries. IT remains a beloved Celtic, whose legend doesn't end in 2017. As a mentor to both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, his example carried over to a championship core. His attempts to work back to NBA stardom morphed into a much bigger movement through his mantra of the slow grind. For an all too brief period, that lifetime of patience and persistence had IT looking more comfortable than anybody during winning time. This episode of Quick Work is presented by TISO, the official watch of the NBA. Everyone gets 24.